You've reached Viceland. For comments or complaints, press 1.
You've got a great show. Take these assholes out of it and put the real facts on TV for the world to see. Give them their own weed show and let them smoke pot, tell people about pot and whatever. Who gives a But don't intertwine both because they're not relevant. Teach people about the ancient alien theory without these idiots covering half the screen. It's moronic. I can't stand watching this shit.
This is for the people. For my people who like to get stoned. For my people who like to read books. For my people who like to do literature things, take baths, all that.
Baths?
What?
Take baths.
What do you mean? Of course, are you kidding me? This is the beginning of a new time, man.
Where is Maya? I tell you, everybody got a belief. That's just crazy.
Ancient aliens is pretty much the best thing that was ever created by man. Traveling the stars and Bronson ancient aliens for a limited time only.
What show is this?
The Owl's turn to do this.
Are we announcing this?
Stop. Just do it normal. Be normal.
Tell me how to do it. Show me how to do it. Show us how to do it.
I just was trying to do it. The creation of man. You know, there's a lot of theories, and this is one of them. I don't know. Let's see what's going on with this, because there's a lot, you know, there's a lot of questions out there. How was we made? How did it happen?
And male
Who was there?
Perhaps a mother and son. The size and shape of the bones indicate that the individuals walked upright and had
Good thing I have a great foot.
Over the past several decades, scientists have unearthed the remains of nearly 24 different types of early human ancestors, all known as hominids.
Come on. Pause it for a second. All you saw was the dick. What the f was it? That's why you said chill?
Nah, his head.
They only showed it for a split second.
It brought back flashbacks to junior high school. Get it together. Get it together.
We have an extremely good fossil record of ancient hominids. And I think the picture emerging from it is pretty clear that in earlier days, before Homo sapiens came along, there were typically many different kinds of hominids coexisting in the world.
We have a hard time getting our minds around this now because, of course, there's just one kind of human on Earth today, and there are 7 billion of us. But at one time, within the last few 100,000 years, you could find 2 or even 3 species of hominin living in the same area at the same time.
Shit.
Most mainstream scholars tell us hominids evolved from an ape ancestor nearly 6 million years ago through what is referred to as natural selection. This theory of evolution was first popularized by English anthropologist Charles Darwin in his 1859 book On the Origin of Species. Darwin speculated that over time, hominids walking on 2 feet used their hands to make tools. This in turn made them smarter.
I never heard that term hominid. I've never heard that. Never.
Hominids evolved into Homo sapiens.
I've read many social studies books. I missed that day.
Many scholars dispute Darwin's findings.
We don't see dolphins building cars. We don't see elephants building houses.
Exactly.
That might sound trite, but it's a fact that these animals just simply haven't progressed and advanced in the way we have.
I've always said this.
The big question is, why is that? Why should that happen?
If it's all evolution, right, then why is it stopped? How come things don't keep evolving like that? They do. No, but I'm just saying right now. All right, let's just say technically they say we came from an ape or something. How come we don't see apes at all turning into no humans now?
I can see the difference just from me being in high school and the motherfucker now in high school. Like, think about it, they're just much bigger.
But that's from the steroids and the food and everything. Like, you know, how come we don't see them, like, really, like, able to break down a certain way? Like, we don't see other evolutions. I'm telling you, man, you gotta have some common sense.
But if Darwin's theory of natural selection cannot account for the appearance of intelligent, hairless Homo sapiens, what can?
How about the overlord?
Might the transition of hominids to modern human beings have been the result of an otherworldly design, as ancient astronaut theorists believe?
There was no transition there. There was no transition.
Body is
a colleague of Darwin.
Body is 100% right.
Yeah. But go back, that transition, there was nothing there. That was wild.
Go back to the transition.
It went from like a gorilla to like a painter.
My God, Friday shoe with 5 hours.
Ooh, that's a schmitty right there. Look,
there we go.
Went from an animal to party supplies. Look at this. What are you saying?
Baboon to John Mayer.
There's no transition. It goes from animal to... Yeah, that's not real. Like...
Come on, man. You get homie's mustache.
As modern human beings have been the result of an otherworldly design, as ancient astronaut theorists believe. Alfred Russel Wallace, a colleague of Darwin, called it the intelligence evolution.
Darwin believed that the human brain had been driven into existence by natural selection, but Wallace couldn't quite see how this could be so. What Wallace perceived was that the way that humans think...
Hey, well,
they
look at this. I get to be with the men today.
Hello there.
I'm good.
Quite see how.
Very good to see you.
Thank you.
How you been?
Okay, now, let's see. This is kind of...
Pause it for a second. This is Laura. Please go deeper because that's such a that's a shortcoming of an introduction for such a extravagant woman. Roll out the carpet.
Well, first of all, I love to do edibles, right? Because I cough like mad. So I had 2 of the darlingest little things about a half hour ago. So
you're wavy.
I'm starting to ride that.
Oh, okay.
But these are so good. Have you ever seen these things? Well, that one's nothing in there.
Are qualitatively different.
You got a bag of things? Or?
Accessories.
And he couldn't quite
No, that's
see
not it.
how
That's a passport.
this enormous gap could be bridged by natural selection.
These are blueberries.
Man.
But it's all empty because I ate them all. But there's some brown ones in here. They're coffee. I don't know where they are. This is what it's like to have a woman's purse.
This is, I know this with my mother. You just have a humongous bag and you just got to dig through the receipts.
You have to dig.
Scissors.
Well, maybe I left them in the car.
Explanation.
The divine feminine, which is what my life's about, is returning a sense of the divine feminine to our world so that when you're, I could get spaced out here, but...
No.
So Mary, the divine feminine, comes through Mary the mother,
Mary J. Blige,
Mary the lover, and Mary the plant. Think about what words we use for this beautiful plant. Pot, weed, dope.
Haze.
All of them have a harsh
that
sound, right?
Dank,
there's a harsh
gas.
sound in it, right?
Yeah.
So Mary goes up.
You're right.
And so all of a sudden, instead of it sounding hard, hey, you want some pot? You're saying, hey, you want to go get married? Let's go get married.
I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that.
Alfred believed there was an unseen creative spirit that was behind all life on our planet. And he believed that this unseen creative spirit had interceded 3 times in this planet. The first was to create life from inorganic matter. And then the second time was when animals achieved some kind of consciousness. And the third time was when humans suddenly were able to have the mental abilities that we have today. But he felt that it wasn't just a random selection.
You're the person they said does the beats.
That's right.
That's you. Well,
along with this gentleman to the right, far right of me, Mr. Knowledge.
Well, my son's name for a while was Kurt Banger because he was making the beats.
That's like a good beat.
It's a good beat. He makes good ones.
That's what a banger is. Kurt makes bangers.
He makes bangers. Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
There's no explanation for human beings. They shouldn't be here on this planet. If we were evolved and changed by an extraterrestrial source from our early primate ancestors, that's the only way really you can account for the human species, unless you, of course, put God in the equation. And who knows who the gods may have been.
Charles Darwin might be rolling over in his grave right now, but it's very possible that mankind came about because of extraterrestrial intervention.
All right, it's ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay,
hit it.
Did the evolution
Hit it, make a bubble.
of humans really receive a jump
Make it bubble. Keep going.
extraterrestrial beings, as ancient astronaut theorists
Let me cover it for you.
And if so,
all right, I'll finish
might there be tangible evidence?
I'm such a lightweight after years.
Found
I'm still a virgin.
the human brain.
We're all virgins. I'll cough with you. That was nice, huh?
That's smooth. It's so perfect that he would have me on his show because, Even though I've never watched Ancient Aliens, I am one. I am one.
We're sitting here with our good friend, our very good friend, Alora. What we're doing now, we're just watching some Ancient Alien shows. This is the episode about the creation of man.
Okay.
And the possibility of extraterrestrials coming down and
This is like Europe.
maybe helping us a little bit, you know what I mean?
Lose our body hair because we began to wear clothing to keep us warm. Or was there some other factor at work that caused us to lose our body hair? Perhaps women didn't find body hair in men attractive, and so it was lost because they didn't choose those men as mates. There's no way to ever answer that question.
But what was the spark that spurred human intelligence? Was it a genetic mutation brought about by the natural selection process of evolution, as many mainstream scientists contend? Or could it have been a genetic modification produced by extraterrestrial beings, as ancient astronaut theorists believe?
Okay.
Oh my
Is that
God.
your dog?
No, but it's a gorgeous one.
It's a darling
Could
dog.
be.
Oh, it's almost like a hairless cat.
It's a beauty. Look at this.
Look at that. Oh, that is so intense. Oh, cutie. Is it a her?
I don't know. Check
It's a little her.
Check its joint.
It's a little her.
I think it's a girl.
It's a little goddess girl.
Check its area.
Okay, so back to telling you why the Ancient Aliens theme is the right thing.
Tell me.
Okay? The Dogon tribe is a tribe in Africa which believes that several thousand years ago, a goddess from the star system Sirius came down and brought cannabis into Africa, and that's how cannabis came to us. And the name Canna in Egyptian means dog, and the word bis means two. So cannabis means two dog, and the star system Sirius is called a two-dog star. So there's a actual tie-in that says that cannabis came with the goddess to Earth to develop a new species, and that cannabis is a part of our evolution as a species. Hallelujah.
Inform the fucking world.
Was it the same non-human ancient aliens of so many ancient settlements on this planet deciding that they wanted humans to be able to communicate at a more sophisticated level?
That's incredible. For some reason, the ancient carvings and drawings and teachings excite me and do something to me. I want to cry, literally, thinking about how someone stood there and did this. That's an incredible carving right there. That's something that I'd want on my wall. That's something I'd want tattooed on my back, you know what I mean? Like,
my back.
Nobody's ever carved you into like a stone, right?
I think I've been carved into a stone.
Long, long time ago, extraterrestrials arrived on this planet. They realized that the planet was full of life, and one of them was the most advanced form, was one of our ancestors. They took the DNA out and they changed the basic information in the DNA. This is what our genetics are doing every day.
KFC shit.
Was changed.
They fucking manipulate all types of... They don't even got heads on the fucking chickens.
Same species. It's made up.
But I'll tell you this, those shits are fire.
What if, as part of the genetic updates human beings were getting from extraterrestrials, one of those genetic updates involved a software download, a biological download, to differentiate the different hemispheres of the brain to allow human society, tool-making, fire, social organization to be created. And from that particular species of hominid became the human being we are today.
If alien species out there could fly across interstellar space, then in all probability they would have similar DNA recombinant technology. Of course, it would depend on their own genetic composition being similar to ours, but...
How I met Action Bronson is a divine appointment. Neither one of us had any idea it was going to happen. I never heard of him. He never heard of me. And we met through destiny at a nail salon in Venice Beach, California. I didn't know Destiny had any more designs on us.
I wanted to change your life.
Until 3 weeks ago.
We're paying for your pedicure today.
And now we're here and having an appointment with Destiny. Maybe I'm supposed to be a mystery, but I did say I was Alora Inanna.
No,
okay.
I think that you should introduce yourself one more time.
One more time?
Because you didn't introduce yourself. Take the shortcut.
The shortcut. I'm learning. My name is Alora Inanna, and I am 67 years old. In this lifetime, I teach spiritual, sensual practices that are important.
Bring it home, bring it home.
Bring it home. The concise explanation of me is I am a completely wild and unique human being who is living my life as the goddess alive.
Beautiful.
And watching Agent Alien.
It's Action Bronson, Ancient Aliens, Viceland.
Might the evidence of our alien origins really have been passed down to us implanted in our genetic code, as perhaps Adam and Eve really did exist?
This is Ashley right here. She's gonna teach us how to do yoga. This is my first time ever. Let's start it off.
So bring your arms up, bring your feet together.
Hold on, right.
Toes and heels touch. All right, so stretch up and then go ahead. Bring your body to the right.
The Hebrew Bible. In it, the book of Genesis describes how God created the first two humans, Adam and Eve, in the Garden of Eden, and told them to go forth and multiply. For centuries, scientists and theologians have debated whether this story of the creation of man was mere myth or historical fact.
Do this?
Give me a second, 20 seconds.
All right, 20 seconds, you breather. It's good.
God, breathe.
Take a little break here.
You smoke?
Maybe. All right, so bring your arms over your head.
Breath of vitality.
And then swing your right arm underneath your left arm.
The spark, the life force that makes a human body tick is divine in its nature.
In 1987, scholarly disagreements over the origin of man...
That's not beginner right there.
Not beginner at all.
Totally is beginner, you guys.
Well, show me something that's a little bit accelerated that I might be able to do.
Back to a single woman who once lived in Africa.
You want to try?
Well, let me see how much I can get my leg. Can you help me?
Yeah.
Wait, you might have to give my leg to me.
At one place.
You can grab it.
Just give it to me.
And after having become...
All right, bounce on one leg. Bounce on one leg.
Give me the goddamn leg.
All right, grab it.
Europe to occupy Eastern
That's
Asia.
close. You're very close.
The world in general.
You're very close.
I was there.
You're there.
But is it possible that mainstream science and the book of Genesis are both pointing to the same...
You don't work the spine as much. You can do that. Or we can get a towel.
Come here, you hold me over here and you just give me my leg and let's try it. Come here, you give me You come here.
You go to the front.
Just hold my arm over here.
I got you.
Oh, look at this.
All right, give me my leg.
All right, here you go. You got it? Oh, you almost got it. Yeah.
You got it.
Good.
Yeah, hold on.
Lock your standing leg. This is good. Look at him. Take a picture. Nice.
Hell yeah.
See, you're great at yoga.
Human being.
It's awesome.
Thank you for helping me.
I got you, bro.
It's good. It's so good. It's awesome.
Viceland, I can't even believe it. All right. You know what? Just bring the food out at this point. You want burger over there? That's fire.
Busy chewing.
Chicago, Illinois.
Shot town.
December 2004. Researchers at the Howard Hughes Medical Institute of the University of Chicago published the results of a study that claims the sophistication of the human brain was the result of a so-called special event.
Yeah.
They said mankind's intelligence was not only the result of evolution, and that around 50,000 years ago, the genes of ancient humans went through an intense amount of change in a relatively short amount of time. What some refer to as the Big Bang of the brain.
You making a dish or something?
No one really knows how human beings developed so fast in such a short period of time.
I have to hold it?
I don't believe it was done naturally.
It's very clear that fully modern intellectual function is a very recent acquisition in our lineage. It's not an improvement upon what was there before. It's a new kind of manipulation of information in the mind.
Now?
There's no other animal creature on the planet that has such a comparative point, and that's why they call it the big brain event.
Making a dish or something? Ancient aliens, Viceland, the creation of man. Put the on. I want to give a special shout out to the Cookies fam.
But if alien beings created humans by genetically altering our primitive ancestors, might various versions of hominids have been the result of experiments at creating intelligent life on Earth, as ancient astronaut theorists contend?
This is one of the greatest unanswered questions. The ancient records do not say that we are part of a social experiment. The ancient records say that we were bestowed upon this gift. The gods gave us the gift of intellect, and it is for us to use it. So, yes, we might actually be part of an experiment, but it might be an experiment in intelligence. It might actually be a game, a kind of the greatest reality TV show, whereby the entire human species is watched by ancient aliens who have been watching the show for maybe 50,000 years.
Are you into this stuff or what? You never seen it?
Much of it, no.
All right, check it out.
I want to check it out.
Al.
Fox P2.
Yes. You should sit like that.
I don't know if I could. For real.
Give it a go. You can do it.
Just pull up your jeans
There
a
it is,
little bit.
exactly.
Yeah.
No, wait, no, more.
So my question is it possible that this gene was given to us or grafted into us by extraterrestrials in the remote past? And the answer is yes.
I think she could be into it. I think she might be.
Do you believe that?
Yeah.
Or do you believe like Jesus made shit and like things like that?
Not necessarily, no. No.
She does yoga, you know, so it's good.
No, my mind is open for sure.
I would say.
When I was in school, they used to ask, what religion you are, whatever. The Jews always had the most holidays, so on the Jewish holidays, I was Jewish.
Convenient.
I'm a convenient Jew for sure. When it was time to leave early on Wednesday, I was Catholic. You know what I'm saying? I remember one time I got in trouble because of oh, man, I don't even want to tell this one.
Talk about it.
I can't even tell this one, it's so
Does
crazy.
it involve feces? No, some of your young stories involve that.
I'm not gonna lie, you made me blush because it does.
Go ahead and tell it now.
Got into a little altercation in the bathroom. Used to be a bad little kid.
In my opinion, the extraterrestrials, by an artificial mutation, they created the intelligence of human. Then the extraterrestrials disappeared. And some of our ancestors had again sex with their ancestors, with ape-like beings. And that was gone into mythology, original sin. Then they returned again, the gods. They realized what happened. And they decided to destroy the whole race by a great flood. And to restart the experiment again with what we call in mythology, Noah. That's old text, that's the way it is.
Hold on. If you're using the Bible as a scientific thing for reference, it's already a little crazy to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the Bible is not really science, is it?
It's not referencing it for science, it's referencing it for timeline. And also for just straight thought process back then by these human beings. Like, God struck things and fire and this and that. When in actuality, it could have been Cobra Commander.
Would you say you're a man of religion or a man of science?
I'm a man of spirit. I'm just a speck of dust.
You're a vessel.
I'm a speck of dust in this molecular thing that we call life.
I'll smoke to that.
The knowledge that Adam and Eve acquired, as well as humanity in general, gives man the ability to eventually carry out.
Nah, I put the piece too.
The pieces, yeah.
Wait, hit the thing. Timer.
It's the tree of knowledge.
Oh, it's already set.
It's automated.
DNA sequencing in our own bodies.
It's alien science, that timer. It just knows that in 50 seconds, that's going to be ready to get you high.
Today, in my mind, it's our DNA itself that is the tree of knowledge.
Block.
It would seem that the aliens...
Like I'm going to say right now, it's ready. It's good.
Ready.
I think it's good.
Be like the gods.
Wait, take the whoop cap. I got you.
No.
All right, go ahead.
Not to have all of this knowledge.
Oh, you're perfect. You see what I mean?
The same story of the god Prometheus.
Come on.
Who
Come on.
gave the orders of the other gods.
Who you love?
comes down to
That was perfect.
That's right.
but because of this
You want one?
from the earth.
When he sings to you, he wants one.
You have greater knowledge.
Yeah, you feel me?
The whole idea or concept of Satan.
That's an ill tat right there.
It's not just me.
That's an ill tat.
He's got eyes for tits. What would you say is going on right there?
There's a struggle. There's a struggle, and he seems to be the puppet master. He's running the show. He knows what's going on. He's the only one that's different.
His hand is not friendly, look.
No, his hand's not friendly.
His hand is like... There's this clip, and this kid singing 2 Chainz, I'm different, and then he pulls back on the camera, and then he has his dick tucked behind him, and he goes, penis missing. It's like it's that. Best person I've ever met. Pretty cool. Want to come out? Come sit right there in between these two guys.
Get over here. Get over here.
Have a conversation about this thing we're watching.
I would love for you to.
Okay. So,
I want to know what you think about this.
well, I don't know anything about what we're looking at right there. So I want to go.
Start it up.
It would appear that extraterrestrials came here, used great apes, other early hominids, created what would be Neanderthal man or Homo erectus, somebody similar to us, and then refined that hominid until they came up with Homo sapien, and then the other early hominids were destroyed. Might the biblical account of Adam and Eve and Noah's Ark really be the retelling of extraterrestrial events, as ancient astronaut theorists believe? Perhaps further evidence can be found in the archaeological lore and eyewitness accounts of man's earliest known civilization.
Which is?
Sumeria.
Let's see if you're right. Jeopardy.
Iraq.
That's where it is.
Let's see. I want to see if you're right.
Bank of the Tigris River, opposite the city of Mosul, lie the ruins of the ancient city of Nineveh, a place originally inhabited by the Sumerians of Mesopotamia.
Sumeria is the cradle of civilization.
My bad.
And I am actually here to bring the mythology of the Sumerians back to our planet, because the mythology of Inanna is translated from the cuneiform writings of Sumeria 5,000 years ago, and it is mind-blowing.
According to interpretations of the Sumerian tablets, the gods were called the Anunnaki.
What we're looking at here is a Sumerian tablet that actually shows the tree of life, flanked by divine beings. You can see here the Anunnaki on each side. We also see the winged disc, a symbolic reference that the Anunnaki had the power of flight.
Not that bad. But you had.
Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome.
According to the ancient astronaut theory, the reason why we have the idea of a Satan today is because there might have been some type of a mutiny between good and bad extraterrestrial factions in the remote past.
You want to
Okay,
speak?
stop.
She wants to speak. She
Let's
wants to
stop.
speak.
Okay, cool.
She wants to
Okay.
speak. Get him.
So, there is a book called DNA of the Gods. Beings from another star system did come down into Africa, created the original man, which was Adamu, and then they created Tiamat, and Tiamat was an evolution of Adamu. They're beings with ridiculous powers, traveling through space. Now they're digging gold in Africa. Imagine that. So they want a worker race. They mix their DNA with the most evolved species, which is some form of ape. They create these two beings, and so the bad guy is up in the Garden of Eden in Sumeria and says to them, I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God. You will bow down to me. All that stuff that we think God said was just an egoic extraterrestrial going the wrong direction in our lives. So that...
It's crazy. It's crazy. That's a lot to process.
That was a lot.
You sure know how to summarize.
When the Sumerian gods, the Anunnaki, realized the toll it was taking to mine the gold themselves, they decided to fashion a worker being, a slave to mine the gold.
Even said it in disorder.
And they explain in the Sumerian creation tales that this was an arduous process. So it's very possible that our genetic evolution was a process done by the Anunnaki to create us in their image and after their likeness.
They created man according to the Sumerian text. They created Adam and Eve. How interesting that the Bible will echo the story, but talk about it in terms of God.
How do you reconcile this concept of what the Bible's about and what all those things? How do you reconcile that with the experience, and I have it on film, of a divine presence coming into me? I was remembering an experience.
You have to dunk the basketball now. Bring it out.
Bring it out.
So there is somehow intelligence that's guiding our lives.
As ancient astronauts believe, extraterrestrials were responsible for providing humans with intelligence. Might they have also given man the ability to speak?
Yeah. Our voice box, our larynx, is so different than the apes. Even the chimpanzee, who's our closest cousin. To a scientist today, that's almost like it was genetically designed so that we can say words and sing.
There really isn't anything more advanced than the human language, and the very fact we can communicate on such a deep, extensive level, that really sets us apart from all other animals. Who invented language? Where did that come from? Was that something instilled in us?
And
I think these are mysteries.
An understanding of our mythology that is more expansive than the limited concept we have of who we are and where we came from. Hallelujah.
Once referred to as junk DNA. But is it really possible that so much of our DNA is unnecessary?
Whoa.
Just because
Are you going to stand on it?
Hey, I heard about the goddess of green, but I didn't hear about the god of green.
Doesn't necessarily mean that
You need to take off those pants that are on underneath it so we can really see how good it looks.
She wants to see how you were created.
Nature is extremely efficient. DNA is the most powerful storage device in the universe. So I'm suggesting that the ultimate proof of extraterrestrial life will be found within our own genes.
You did compliment my body, how it looked better in the flowing.
It was so good.
Thank you.
You want to see, you went into it. You know, if somebody didn't get those pictures, it's a sin, because I was looking at you and you were in your mythic self.
I thought, I was mythical. Look at this thing.
From the Garden of Eden.
Oh, the Garden of Eden. I love that.
Read it.
Look
is
at
amazing.
that.
It contains about an ounce
Oh my God.
of marijuana.
Oh my God. Well, so a bite will do it, right?
Go change and show your creation. Get this out of here. I'm sick of looking at you.
I love that you're in this. Where did you get it?
Whoa.
I might have to get one.
Oh, yeah.
Get it, Mom.
Only beginning to decode the human DNA sequence. And as we do that, what we may discover is that extraterrestrial DNA is built into our own genetics.
Whatever is out there created the universe, this planet, and other planets, and life. And I strongly believe that this tie-in with whether gods and ETs were one of the same might very well be the case. It does not take away from the fact that there's a God, that there's a higher power, that there's some creation out there that made the ETs. But I think that layer between God and man is right in the middle, and that's extraterrestrials from other planets.
We have to learn that most of our knowledge in religion is wrong, except one thing.
I have to stop.
There is creation. There is what we call
That's
God,
dangerous.
there is respect.
You're going to be...
To learn by religion, we are very teeny little beings in this gigantic universe. My God is absolutely unexpressible.
Unfortunately, it is.
Gigantic, so wonderful.
Because I can't...
We would never
I just need
lose
it.
God when we continue to
That
think
is my plate no longer, because I can't possibly... That's what I know.
Is it really possible?
So I don't want to have it around because I'm a chocolate freak and I'll go for it.
When I close my eyes, I see spiders.
Wait, you guys, look. Look now what they're saying. Look at the screen.
Do we think that?
You think we come from bacteria?
I believe we come from love, compassion, and understanding.
Real.
Like Ghostbusters.
Bubbles.
Or were we intelligently designed by a higher power of extraterrestrial origin?
Yo, ancient aliens, don't come looking for me, man.
Perhaps the answer lies within the very essence of what makes us human. And with this knowledge, we may yet discover our rightful place in the universe.
Hallelujah.
You have chocolate on your face.
Oh,
I don't know what to tell you today.
I loved watching this.
I told you I had a special feeling when we were getting pedicures. I knew.
That's what I was about to say. Guess what?
That's kind of crazy.
Now that's exactly where I was going, sweetie.
Did he not tell you?
Yes,
We all had a special. When he hugged you, I felt it.
Really?
I felt it.
It was all for this.
Body, get over here. Hug her.
That's right. It was
So
all
I
for
can
this.
feel it
It was
again.
all for this. So that's how you know
And then the
there's
next
divine
thing-
intelligence managing it all.
I wanna
because
feel it, man.
Who could have made this happen? Nobody
I
could
wanna
have made
feel
this
it.
happen. Hey, honey.
Make them feel it.
Love energy. Love is energy, body.
Ah, this feels so good.
Okay. Fun.
Say
So
sex.
fun.
Ancient aliens. Vice land.
Okay, good.
I'll see you next
Are
time.
we done?
Yeah. Take that. Take that. Yeah. Make it hot. 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 9-6, y'all. Make it hot. Make it hot. Make it hot. It make me feel so good.
More explosions.
It make me feel so. Yeah. Make it hot. Make it hot. Make it hot. Make it hot. 9-6, y'all. Thank you, Laura.
The world is yours.
You making a dish for somebody?
Said this.
The big question is, why is that? Why should that happen?
If it's all evolution, right? Then why is it stopped? How come things don't keep evolving like that?
They do.
No, but I'm just saying right now. All right, let's just say technically they say we came from an ape or something. How come we don't see apes at all turning into no humans now?
I can see the difference just from me being in high school and the mother now in high school. Like, think about it, they're just much bigger.
But that's from the steroids and the food and everything. Like, you know, how come we don't see them like really like able to break down a certain way? Like we don't see other evolutions. I'm telling you, man, you gotta have some common sense.
But if Darwin's theory of natural selection cannot account for the appearance of intelligent hairless Homo sapiens, what can?
How about the overlord?
Might the transition of hominids to modern human beings have been the result of an otherworldly design, as ancient astronaut theorists believe?
There was no transition there.
There was no transition.
Body is
A colleague of Darwin.
Body is 100% right.
Yeah.
But go back, that transition, there was nothing
That was
there.
wild. Yo,
Go back to the transition.
It went from like a gorilla to like a painter.
Ooh, that's a Schmitty right there.
Look,
there we
he
go.
went from an animal to party supplies. Look at this. That's what he's saying.
baboon to John Mayer.
There's no transition. It goes from animal to...
Yeah, that's not real. Like,
come on, man. Look at homie's mustache.
As modern human beings have been the result of an otherworldly design, as ancient astronaut theorists believe. Alfred Russel Wallace, a colleague of Darwin, called it the intelligence evolution.
Darwin believed that the human brain had been driven into existence by natural selection, but Wallace couldn't quite see how this could be so. What Wallace perceived was that the way that humans think,
Hey, well,
their intellectual
look at this. I get to be with the men today.
Hello there.
I'm good.
quite see how.
Very good to see you.
Thank you.
How you been?
Okay, now, let's see. This is kind of...
Pause it for a second. This is Laura, but please go deeper because that's such a that's a shortcoming of an introduction for such a extravagant woman.
Roll out the carpet.
Well, first of all, I love to do edibles, right? Because I cough like mad. So I had two of the darlingest little things about a half hour ago. So
you're wavy.
I'm starting to ride that.
Oh, okay.
But these are so good. Have you ever seen these things? Well, that's that one to know nothing in there.
Intellectual faculties are qualitatively different.
You got a bag of things? Or?
Accessories.
No, that's not it. That's a passport.
This
Hello, you've reached Viceland. For comments or complaints, press 1.
You've got a great show. Take these assholes out of it and put the real facts on TV for the world to see. Give them their own weed show and let them smoke pot, tell people about pot and whatever. Who gives a but don't intertwine both because they're not relevant. Teach people about the ancient alien theory without these idiots covering half the screen. It's moronic. I can't stand watching this shit.
This is for the people. For my people who like to get stoned. For my people who like to read books. For my people who like to do literature things, take baths, all that.
Baths?
What?
Take baths.
What do you mean? Of course, are you kidding me? This is the beginning of a new time, man.
Where is Maya? I tell you, everybody got a belief. That's just crazy.
Ancient aliens is pretty much the best thing that was ever created by man. Traveling the stars, Bronson ancient aliens for a limited time only.
What show is this?
The Owl's turn to do this.
Are we announcing this?
Stop. Just do it normal. Be normal.
Tell me how to do it. Show me how to do it. Show us how to do it.
I just was trying to do it. The creation of man. You know, there's a lot of theories, and this is one of them. I don't know. Let's see what's going on with this, because there's a lot, there's a lot of questions out there. How was we made? How did it happen?
And male
Who was there?
Perhaps a mother and son. The size and shape of the bones indicate that the individuals walked upright and had
Good thing I have a great foot.
Over the past several decades, scientists have unearthed the remains of nearly 24 different types of early human ancestors, all known as hominids.
Come on. Pause it for a second. All you saw was the dick. What the f was it? That's why you said chill?
Nah, his head.
They only showed it for a split second.
It brought back flashbacks to junior high school.
Shit. Get it together. Get it together.
We have an extremely good fossil record of ancient hominids. And I think the picture emerging from it is pretty clear that in earlier days, before Homo sapiens came along, there were typically many different kinds of hominids coexisting in the world.
We have a hard time getting our minds around this now because, of course, there's just one kind of human on Earth today, and there are 7 billion of us. But at one time, within the last few 100,000 years, you could find 2 or even 3 species of hominin living in the same area at the same time.
Shit.
Most mainstream scholars tell us hominids evolved from an ape ancestor nearly 6 million years ago through what is referred to as natural selection. This theory of evolution was first popularized by English anthropologist Charles Darwin in his 1859 book On the Origin of Species. Darwin speculated that over time, hominids walking on 2 feet used their hands to make tools. This in turn made them smarter.
I never heard that term hominid. I've never heard that.
Never. Hominids evolved into Homo sapiens.
I've read many social studies books. I missed that day.
Many scholars dispute Darwin's findings.
We don't see dolphins building cars. We don't see elephants building houses.
Exactly.
That might sound trite, but it's a fact that these animals just simply haven't progressed and advanced in the way we have.
I've always